All right, here we go. Thursday, April 2nd, your full body warm-up, dynamic stretch for the day. Before we begin, public service announcement for the day. Make sure that you continue to wash your hands, practice your social distancing to protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community as COVID continues to evolve and progressively get worse and worse. So just every day, take it upon yourself to do those actions. So for the warm-up, we're going to need something for balance, stool, wall, whatever, and then we're going to be on the ground, so something comfortable to lay on the ground, carpet, yoga mat, whatever the case might be. So we're going to begin with a series for our legs, for our hips. We're going to do, like we always do, everything on one side, and we'll go to the other. We're going to start off by standing on the right leg, and that left leg is going to be doing the work. So we will let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring my left leg up here. I'm going to keep my knee pointed right at you. We're going to do windshield wipers. So I'm going to stand tall. From my hip to my knee doesn't move, and from my knee down is going to move. Now, all the action is through the hip, so the knee's going to stay relatively relaxed as we do these windshield wipers. All right, let's begin. Nice and tall, strong on this right leg. We're going to windshield in and out, in and out, in and out. That's 3. In and out. Again, the knee's going to stay relatively relaxed. 4 and one more. 5. Good. Now I'm going to turn out, rotate it out 90 degrees or so, and we're going to go that same rotation. So now my knee's going to point away and remain away. Out and in, out and in, out and 3, out and 4, and one more, out and 5. Good. Bring that leg back to the front. We're going to do 10 pulses. So I'm going to start at this point and then just pull straight up. Shoulders down and back, nice and relaxed through the torso. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rotate that leg out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're going to do hip rotations. So I'm going to start here. This knee is bent and my knees are in line. This knee might be just a little bit behind. So from this position right here, standing nice and tall, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this leg up as high as I can, or I'm going to kind of pick it up as high as I can. And then I want to think about rotating down, keeping this knee up as high as I can. Again, all this rotation here is going to occur at the hip. 1, keeping that knee up nice and high, rotating through that hip. 2, keep it up nice and tall. 3, nice and tall. 4, and one more, nice and tall. 5, good. We're going to wrap this leg around to the back here. We're going to do 10 of these. So I am simply, what am I doing here? So I'm going to hold knee flexion, okay? So I'm going to hold this hamstring contraction, and then from there I'm just going to push back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So felt like that hamstring was going to cramp. If it does, just kind of relax just a little bit and then go ahead and continue. So let's go around to the other side. Standing on the left leg, that right leg's going to be doing work. And start with those windshield wipers. Nice and tall, shoulders down and back, strong on that left leg. Knee is going to stay pointed at you, out and in, out. And yeah, you might put your hand on your knee here just to kind of give you a little tactile feedback, just to give you a little reminder. It's going to stay in place. 1 more. Rotate it out to the side and in and out, in, out, in, 3, in, 4, and one more, in and out. Good. Bring that knee back to the front. We're going to do 10 pulses. So again, really strong on this inside leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Foot to the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On this side, we're going to start with the internal rotation at a different position. This is, I think, a better starting point. So I'm going to jack that knee up as high as I possibly can, keeping that knee as high as we possibly can, rotating here at the hip, and then pulling that lower leg up to a horizontal position. Ready? 1, 2. Trying to have as much space between the knees as I can. 3, 4, one more, and 5. Good. Okay, I'm going to wrap this leg around the back. Again, I've got this leg bent and nice and tall here. We're going to push back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, excuse me, and 10. Good. Okay, we're going to do some work on the shoulders. So I'm going to do some shoulder rolls forward and backwards. Then we're going to go to the wall and do swimmers and O's. All right. So hands on my side, nice and relaxed here. Going to make a nice big circle. So I'm going to start out. I'm going to come up and back. Really max out how big those circles are. So we're going to be pulling up, pulling back, pulling down, pushing forward, up, back, down, and forward. One more. Big circles. Hit the top, roll it forward. Big circles as I go throughout that range of motion. Max that out. One more. Good. Okay, over to the wall. I'm going to be turning, talking to you. I want you to keep your head, your face, everything right up against the wall. Kiss the wall. Keep everything nice and flush to the wall. All right, we're going to start. That left arm is going to stay planted, and that right arm is going to be doing the work for these swimmers. 2 on the right, 2 on the left, 2 O's. So I start with that right thumb pointed back. I'm going to keep my arm straight. I'm going to reach back. Then I'm going to rotate, thumb forward, palm out, and then always pulling through that shoulder blade. Pull through that shoulder blade, pull through that shoulder blade, all the way back to your hip. Going to hit the hip. We're going to turn. We're going to lift that hand, pinky up. We're going to rotate, palm up, and we're going to crawl stroke, back to the top. Hit the wall. Drive that thumb back. Rotate that thumb forward, palm out. Backstroke, pull through the shoulder blade, hit the hip, lift the arm, pinky up, rotate everything, rotating at the shoulder, and then crawl stroke, really strong, back to the top. So yeah, make sure all of our rotations occur at the shoulder, not at the elbow, not at the wrist, but at the shoulder. All right, left arm, drive that thumb back, rotate out, backstroke, pulling through that shoulder blade, pull through the shoulder blade. I'm gonna hit the hip, I'm gonna lift the arm, pinky up, rotate, thumb up, palm out, crawl stroke back to the top. One more, drive that thumb back, rotate out, and I'm gonna pull back nice and strong, all the way to the hip. I'm gonna lift that arm, pinky up, I'm gonna rotate out, cross stroke, pulling through that shoulder, and good. Now we're gonna go both arms. So both arms against the wall, gonna drive those straight arms back. Then I'm going to rotate thumbs forward, palms out, and I'm going to pull backstroke, all the way to my hips. I'm going to lift pinkies up, rotate, crawl stroke, or think more butterfly, all the way back to the top, pull through those shoulder blades. One more time, drive those arms back, rotate, big backstroke, good, hit the hips, lift the arms, rotate, and then bring it back to the top. And good. Okay, so now let me check my notes, but I think we're going to go to the ground and work on the shoulders some more. Yeah. So we've got 3 positions that we're going to work on 30 seconds apiece from the ground. W's, then thoracic extension, then chicken wings. All right, so 30 seconds apiece. All from the ground position, all from that prone position. So I'll just demonstrate it, all three of them really quickly, and then we'll do 30 seconds of one, we'll rest for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, rest for 10, and then the final for 30 seconds. So with those W's, you're gonna get in a lie here, flush on the ground. I'm gonna have my elbows at about 90 degrees. I'm gonna keep my elbows in contact with the ground, and I'm simply just going to be rotating a big contraction through the shoulder blades, down to that midpoint on your back, and trying to pull those forearms up as hard as I possibly can. Then, hold on a second. Then we're gonna go to thoracic extension. So we'll come out here to the front, we're gonna bend those elbows, and then from there we're gonna lift elbows, hands, everything up. And then hold for 30 seconds. And then the chicken wings, arms at our side, lift the arms, bend the elbows, and then pull away from your body and up towards your shoulders. All right, 30 seconds apiece. Starting with the W's. Ready, get your arms into position. 3, 2, 1, and begin. So elbows maintain contact, and it's just a constant contraction through your shoulder blades, and through that, down to the base of the shoulder blades, down to that midpoint on your back. 15 more seconds. So your head should be on the ground right now, relaxed on the ground. Don't pay attention to me. Ready, 3, 2, 1, and relax, okay? So go ahead, we got 10 seconds. We're gonna put those arms straight out. From here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bend our elbows, bring our hands in behind our head, and we're gonna lift. So we're making fists with our hands. Our fists are not touching our head or our neck, and we're lifting our elbows as high as we possibly can. So lifting those elbows as high as we can, trying to feel a big contraction, going all the way down those erector muscles that are on either side of your spine. Another 10 seconds. Lift as hard as you can. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, the final one. We're gonna put our hands at our side here, and here are 3, 2, 1. We're gonna lift those arms, bend those elbows like you're in handcuffs, and then we're gonna pull everything in, nice and high, away from the body, towards the shoulders, and continue to lift, pull nice and hard. Another 10 seconds, continue to pull away from the body and pull up towards your shoulders, nice and strong. And relax. Beautiful. All right. Okay, sorry, let me check my notes. I have to close the notebook. All right. So we're going to do 5 of each of these. We're going to start in a Y position, and then, an I, then a Y, then a T position, lying on the ground. We're going to press into the ground as hard as we can, and then we're going to lift as hard as we can. We'll do that 5 times in the I position, 5 in the Y, and 5 in the T. Now, as we pull off the ground, I want you guys to think about creating external rotation. So I push into the ground, and then as I pull back, I'm going to externally rotate, trying to get those palms and the elbow pits, and opening up those armpits as much as we can, whether we're in the I, the Y, and the T position. So again, just thinking external rotation at each of those positions, really pulling through those shoulder blades, creating an external rotation. All right, here we go. So we'll start in that I position, We're going to push and we're going to pull 5 times. Ready? And push into the ground as hard as you can. Push, and then lift those arms up as high as they'll go. And now push those arms into the ground as hard as you can, and then lift as high as they'll go. Push into the ground, and lift. Now I changed my mind, we're going to do 3 of each. So let's go to that Y position. Push into the ground as hard as you can, palms down. Then I want you to rotate your palms, your elbows, and your shoulders. Externally rotate and lift as hard as you can. Now we're going to push everything into the ground as hard as you can. Externally rotate and lift as hard as you can. Push into the ground as hard as you can, still in that wide position. Externally rotate and lift. Good, come to that T position, palms down, push into the ground as hard as you can. Externally rotate through those shoulder blades and lift as hard as you can. Push into the ground, palms down. Externally rotate, lift. One more time, push into the ground really hard. Externally rotate and lift. And relax, good job. Okay? So we're gonna move to, we're gonna practice our lateral lunges. And we're gonna do some push-ups and some squats. So with the, everybody here can do the lateral lunges, but with the push-ups, if we can't do the push-ups for whatever reason, we can either do shoulder taps or we can do just hold plank position. So the first thing I want you to do is we're gonna get into this, practice our lateral lunge. We're gonna do 5 each way. We're gonna do the first round with our hands on the ground here. So I get in a wide position, my toes are more or less straight ahead. I can go ahead and put my hands on the ground here. And from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit. You can start off by sitting to your left here. So you wanna make sure that the knee and the toe are lined up with one another. We wanna make sure that we've got our hips back and we're sitting into our left hip crease. All right, and then we'll come to the right. Again, right now I'm gonna keep my hands on the ground and then to the left. And we want to think about sitting, getting into that hip as deep as we possibly can. And to the right. So when I'm on this foot right here, I want to think about being active with this foot, grabbing at the ground. Come to the left. Active with the foot, grabbing at the ground, activating that arch. To the right. I want to think about my foot and my knee being lined up with one another. Back to the left. Back to the right. Do one more each way. Back to the left. Really sit into that hip crease, push that knee out. Don't let that knee dive or cave in. And one more time, back to the right. Cool. Okay, now leaving your feet wide, we're gonna walk out to that push-up position, and then we're either gonna do 5 push-ups, or you just do shoulder taps, or just hold plank, whichever you're gonna do. Okay, now we're going to walk it back. Now we're going to do our lunges, but we're going to have our hands in the air. So we're going to put those hands out in front of us. And again, I'm going to sit down as deep as I can into position here. And then up and over to the other side. So I want to make sure, again, this foot is nice and flat, driving this toe down. My knee and my toe are lined up. My shin is pretty vertical to the left. Really want to sit into this hip crease here, nice and tight. To the right, to the left, to the right. This is 3. To the left. You're going to sit in as deep as you can. Again, your deep is going to be different than everybody else's deep, okay? So just do what you can do, all right? Just go as deep. We'll do one more each side. We'll go as deep as you can do. And one more to the right. Good, okay. So now we're going to walk back out and do 5 more push-ups or shoulder taps or just hold plank. Cool. All right. So we will do, we're going to finish up with a little bit of squat work. We're going to do a 30-second squat hold. And then we're going to do 15 squats. Now, instead of the squat hold, you could do a wall sit for 30 seconds, where you're just going to position yourself like so, feet about shoulder width apart, shins vertical, knees out. You're just going to sit here for 30 seconds. If you can't do, full squats, then we can use a chair of some kind, where we're just going to be, you're going to sit your butt down on that object and stand. Make sure that feet stay flat, knees go out, and just sit your butt on the chair or whatever it is when we get to that second part. All right? All right, so let's get ourselves into position for our squat sit. And we're going to descend nice and slowly into this, so feet about shoulder width apart, nice and slowly. We're going to start to descend down. Make sure our feet are flat, big toes are grabbing at the ground, activating those arches, knees are out, we're sitting into our hip creases, chest is up, pull those shoulders down and back, drop it into that position. I want to think about activating those glutes and turning those knees out, but as I do so, make sure that I'm driving those big toes down, so don't drive those knees out and then let your toes roll up. So continue to activate, continue to sit down. Think about pulling your butt down towards your heels. Pull your butt down towards your heels, nice and deep. Nice and deep, good. Nice and tall, nice vertical position here. Good, drive those knees out, activate those glutes. All right, we're gonna hang out here for just a second longer, and then we're going to do our squats, okay? Ready? And 15 of them, whether you're just doing regular squats or whether you're doing them out of the chair. And begin. And 15. Excellent. Beautiful. All right, there you go. There you have it. Dynamic stretch warm-up for the day, Thursday, April 2nd.